It's the mindset. Free your mind, free your mind. Mindset, free your mind, free your mind. Hey, not everything that glitter is gold. Not everything that's white is snow. On the mindset, I just start let them know, let them know, let them know. Oh, words from the wise. I just start, we will never die. Stand tall, we will never die. We'll forever shine. I just start, shine like a star in the sky. Some hate, some love.
Rastafari. Yes, my sister. Yeah, man. So what go on? What we are dealing with today on the program?
From Rose Goddess Isis, live and direct from Botswana. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you'll enjoy what I have cooked up for you tonight. Tonight on the show, we are discussing issues of spirituality, and we're exploring African spirituality, and our discussion is centered around the role played by African spirituality in modern day society. And we're also trying to establish if the modern day Africans still hold it with the same regard as our ancients. Is it still being applied in our day-to-day life? And over the past few days, I have been engaging with some people from around Botswana, South Africa, and even across UK. You know, Afro-diaspora connection, that's all we're about.
Yes,
and I'd love to hear your overall views and reasoning on this, so feel free to hit me up on my WhatsApp line +267 72984692, or on my Facebook at Pumulo Maseja, or Instagram at goddess_Isis. And while you're still getting in touch, let's hear from some of the massive who have already engaged on this particular topic and sent through the voice notes. So like I say, remember we're discussing issues of African spirituality. Yes, over to the I.
Rastafari.
Yes, yeah.
Bayede, which means greetings. My name is Lindiwe Sangweni, currently based in KZN at a small remote village, but I'm originally from Johannesburg. But funny enough, actually, I'm here because I'm actually in training into becoming an African traditional healer. So my spirituality is that I'm an African spiritualist. So this topic really hits home for me and I'd love to explain it from an aspect of being a person who is in training into becoming a traditional healer. So if I could please explain it from that angle. So for me, the role that it's really playing right now, African spirituality, is that a lot of young people, what I've noticed in South Africa, a lot of people are being called into initiation school to become healers. And with that, there's many different reasons why somebody would have to go to an initiation school or to a healer to get helped with their spiritual problems. So right now, there's a huge or large case of young people who are being called to kind of find out who they are. Not every single one is going to be an actual healer, but many people now going through the process kind of find out about themselves and their identity and who they are, where they're from. So that gives them the power, to take their ownership and take their place, in this world, which is something that has been stripped away from us because we've had so many other identities kind of put onto us, and enforced onto us that we've kind of lost ourselves. So the role that it's playing right now is bringing back the senses or the sense to our people. which is a beautiful thing, because like right now, what you witness is a lot of young people wearing some ancestral cloths of their clans with pride. You know what I mean? Even though they're rocking that Nike, but they've got this very cool outfit that's being made to actually show off who they are, you know, where they're from, you know, and which pulse or vibration they walk with. So it's a beautiful thing. It's giving them power. It's giving them courage. It's giving them what else? It's giving them, like I said, the senses, which is something that we've lost, you know, as Africans. We've lost our senses as Africans. So African spirituality brings back those senses back to us. In terms of, are we practicing things the same way, like how our ancients did? From a perspective of someone who's in initiation school, I can safely say that yes, some of the practices have not really changed much. You know what I mean? Because there's the basic principle of a specific ritual or whatever the case is that has to be kept kind of the same way, because it's like the stencil of what our ancestors did. But certain aspects of them have evolved, and a lot of the time somebody, you know, depending on the ancestor, because again, for African spirituality, it's very important for you to connect with your ancestors. Therefore, some ancestors will, if you communicate well enough with them, you can actually say, hey, you know what, guys, this thing is not working like this anymore. Can you please give me another way of how to do this? Or can I please suggest that we do 1, 2, and 3? And then ancestors will come back with an answer and say, you know what, bro, okay, let's do this. Because obviously, clearly, because we're the ones, they can't see anything, they can't really see much. You know what I mean? They work with a vibration. So we become the voice that kind of brings the change, you know, into these African spiritual practices and beliefs. So yeah, so it's a lot of the things are not stagnant, you know what I mean, which is something that I always like to tell people, especially a lot of healers, that things are not going to stay the same, especially in African spirituality. Yes, there's the stencil, in which what we call it in Zulu, usigo, you know what I mean, which is like the stencil, you know, but you can have a stencil, but then you can decorate it, right? You can trace back, you can trace and do whatever and create the shape, but you can add more value to that shape. And that's basically our job, actually, as young people. So yeah, big ups. I'd like to send a huge shout out to my friends in Johannesburg and my family in Johannesburg, to big ups, guys, and big ups to the Rasta Nation, guys. Big ups to the red, yellow, green. By the way, those are my main colors in terms of my healing practice. So yeah, there's a connection there. Yeah, guys. So big ups. Shout out to you too, Poems.
Rastafari, powerful reasoning from the sister. You know what I mean? I love one of the things I may find very interesting is, you know, she has said, boy, you know, we lose our senses and our touch with the ancients, you know.
Yes, I.
Yes, I.
And she also mentioned that African spirituality, basically, as a tradition, it shouldn't be in the past, and it should be used as a stem cell, you know, that paves the way forward as we evolve still as Africans. So that's the bit where she touched on decorating the stem cells and on that, and very powerful points. And yeah, currently undergoing through her own African spiritual journey. She's an initiate. So yeah, thank you so much for your points, Lindy.
Yes, I. Yeah, man. Big up my sister, man. Large up all the ones them out there in Johannesburg, South Africa right now. So they are them log on. Large up all the people in Germany also. You know what I mean? Jamaica, Botswana. You know what I mean? And as a man, I still have them. Yes, all the people in the UK, yes, more love and strength. Yes, my sister. Yeah, man. So yeah, very interesting thing, you know, sister point out. You know, we shouldn't lose our value. The things them shouldn't, you know, be in the past. But I think one of the things that anyway, let me play one of the voice note, then me come to what I want to say. Let me play another voice note.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Avumile from South Africa, and my take on this whole topic is that African spirituality in this day and age isn't as relevant as it was in ancient times. Not because it really lacks substance or value, but because of things like our history, take colonization for instance, and we currently have globalization as a means of interconnection. So, African spirituality is seen as demonic or bad and is mainly associated with witchcraft and evil spirits. There are still people who practice some African beliefs, but they still approach it with, how can I put it, with a Christian background. And in turn, it's not really practiced in its purest and most original form. And currently, there's this term that's been going around. It's called being woke. And to a certain degree, I feel that people only want to fake practice their Africanacity or African beliefs just so they can be viewed as woke. It's become a trend, really. That's how I just see it. And people no longer do it because it's a way of life, but because they want to be seen as cool. So, in essence, I feel that African spirituality isn't what it used to be because of historical factors and the world in which we currently live in, and it's definitely not being applied in our daily lives. Yeah, that's my take on it. Thank you. Hi,
Yeah, reality, reality. Reality. Believe you me, because that's what me did I go say before, and this the data does kinda does kinda clear it up in a sense, because today African spirituality is seen as witchcraft and demonic. That is how it's portrayed because of this Western, the Western religion, which is Christianity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Very
practicing it in a true and pure form, as the sister said, for real.
yeah.
Yeah, reality,
Well,
man. Where do I view?
I think it is a very important and interesting point that she approached this with, because definitely what we see now being called African spirituality, I don't think it's what the ancients really practiced. I don't think it's the original African spirituality, because like there has been some infiltrations from colonization,
Yes.
and currently we're dealing with globalization, like she said,
Mm-hmm.
and those things found a way to, they have found their way into African spirituality, and they've found a way to be interconnected, and so we can't say what people are practicing now. It's really, really the original organic African spirituality, and also with trends that are flying around, like being woke, such things. You never know if people are really, really, representing African spirituality, or they just want to be deemed cool, or they want to fit in. So, and those are the things, those are the reasons that the original African spiritualists were not practicing African spirituality for those kind of reasons. So, yeah, definitely and absolutely a very interesting take on it. Thank you, sister. And big up to you all the way from Johannesburg as well.
Rastafari. Yeah, man. Manners and respect. All right, let's go into the next one.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Erin responding to the question, what is the role played by African spirituality in the modern day society? I'll have to start off explaining that I'm a Christian. I grew up in a Christian family. My parents are Christian and my grandparents are Christian. So obviously, as you can imagine, this means I had no access to any African spirituality lessons. I only got warnings. I shouldn't do this, or but then as when it comes to African lessons, I never got them. So I believe that's where the problem is with my case. As for the role it plays in my life, African spirituality, that is, it is minuscule because I do not know what are the laws or the advices that are given under this African spirituality. The most I can do is live under the Christian guidelines that has been portrayed through the Bible. As you all know, the 10 Commandments and all this. That's my guideline. That's what leads me in life. But then because I don't know the guidelines portrayed by the African way, or actually the African spirituality way, I cannot apply it. It's inapplicable to me. But then I do know, of course, the traditional senses, the culture of my I do know my culture. So it's not the same thing. The spirituality sense, the religion sense, and the culture sense is not the same. So I keep my culture, I keep my tradition, but my religion I do put on to God as a Christian. That's how I decided to live my life. Thank you very much.
So you see the flip side. You see the flip side of the thing, because colonization, bringing Christianity into the thing, and you can see say boy that becomes a issue with the virgin there, because him being a Christian now, him lose that sense of African spirituality. What do I view, my sister?
Well, I just think this takes us back to the issue that we just discussed of colonialization and some regions penetrating Africa and being able to condition and change the narrative. So we really can't blame him because that's how he grew up, and we can just hope that along the way he manages to find his way out of foreign religions, because it doesn't make sense to say to be African and not to be to not know your roots, if we can call it that.
Yeah. True. It sounds away.
Or to view your spirituality through like foreign. Let's just hope along the way he finds his roots and gets a true understanding of who he is and the essence of being an African.
Rastafari. For real. Yeah, man, for real. Because, going back to one of the previous voice note with one of the sisters them that say, when I grew up in Jamaica, and Obia is seen as a demonic thing in Jamaica, and to a lot of other people, it's seen as African spirituality. And we know the term. That term even existed in the time of the rebellion, also in a Haiti, where Africans leave from the island of Jamaica and went to Haiti to rebel against, or to the revolution in Haiti to revolute against the French, and some of the virgin them that meant that who went on that travel, was seen as some serious Obia man, you know what I mean, in Jamaica at the time. But what you say, my sister? Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think like they say, a prophet is never great at home or whatever. And we don't look at one thing the same way. We could be looking at one thing and see different things. So yeah, to some people you can call African spirituality demonic. It all depends on the type of conditioning and how have you been exposed to certain things in life. That's going to affect how you view things in life. So I think most people are just, I don't want to say brainwashed into thinking that anything that is foreign, it's like, that's the real thing, and anything that's from home or indigenous, they have to question or scrutinize. And yeah, so most people, I'm not surprised some people in Jamaica view Obeya as, being demonic or, such things.
Yeah, man. So one of them things there, it's the same African people, but as is it, same brainwash, same colonization to said way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alright, me could drop another voice note.
Seeing.
My name is Mutingwa. I'm coming to you from Tatisiding village in Botswana, in southern Africa. How I currently interpret spirituality is how we communicate with our soul. And so we have psychology, or the study of the soul, and the African archetypes for the soul. My envisioned role for African spirituality is to provide a new narrative and a new paradigm by which the next generation can navigate this, which is the most challenging time when it comes to the chains, which are now more mental than the physical ones that our ancestors endured.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Seriously. What's your take on that, my sister?
Well, okay, I'd just like to add that we're sorry about the quality of the voice notes, and yeah, we're really sorry about that. But from what he said African spirituality is the study of the soul, right?
Yeah.
And so he's basically saying he's basically saying African spirituality is the basis of spirituality and who we are as a people. So that's why he's mentioning it being the
soul.
The soul. That's why that's where the soul part comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Fully agree with them, dude. Alright, we could go on to the next one.
Hello. Hi, everyone. I would like just to start off by introducing myself. My name is Kulani Sitole. In the UK, I go by the name of Kai. So I wanted to touch just a little bit on the subject of Africans and their spirituality awareness in the UK. So I would just like to start off that it is just by saying that it is very minimal. A lot of African brothers and sisters are not really aware or conscious about the spirituality of their descendants. Yes, obviously when we get to Europe, everyone realizes that they are in a foreign place, in a foreign land, and things over here are a bit disconnected. And people do have the longing to belong or to be connected to Africa. It's always there, and it hits you even harder when you are actually living here. That in Africa, there's just a deep-rooted sense of belonging and sense of living. So it's something that we as Africans take for granted when we are there. Well, not all of us, some of us, especially the younger generation. But the older generations, like our grandparents and our great grandparents were very much in tune with that. Maybe our parents who were born in the 60s were a little bit disconnected to that, given the apartheid era and how things were uprooted from the cultural aspects of things. But yeah, so getting back on the topic or on the subject of how are we as Africans affected here in the UK, we are disconnected, but there is a longing for us to want to belong. So we do have our communities here and there, but there's stronger Jamaican presence here in the UK because they are one of the islands that have lived here for such a long time. And Africans in general have been suppressed here in the UK in terms of identity. It's not something that's magnified or glorified in a sense. So yeah, I would just like to say that there is a longing for it, and we do want to be more spiritually connected. But unfortunately, there's just a missing link because of the geographical location of where we are. Maybe it has to do with the density of one's soul or the lack of, here in Europe. I just wanted to say, but I'm actually a Zulu by origin. I was born in KZN. I've been living in the UK now for about 16, 17 years. And I do frequent going back to South Africa quite a great deal. And I still am in tune with who I am. So I always believe that I'm an African first before any other race. But yeah, I mean, that's just what I wanted to say. I don't know if that will add on to our debate, but if need be, feel free to contact me at any time on the number attached to the voice note. Thank you very much for giving me the time and the space to share my view. Yeah, God bless you. Thank you. Bye.
Smash that subscribe button. See you on the next video. I just start the mindset.